Hello everybody, this is Bricks here. The first video on my new channel. A few things right off the bat. Number one, I will be going by Bricks only, despite the channel's full name. Number two, I do plan to upload pretty consistently, ideally Saturdays. If I'm busy that day, then I'll try to upload on Sundays. And if I don't upload, assume that either, as mentioned, I'm busy or I'm preparing for my next video. The third thing to note is these are my mocks only, and I will also be taking suggestions from Rebrickable. I have built a few Transformers from there, and I also have a few of my own listed there, one of which we'll be reviewing today. Go check that out. Channel name is Virkirion, Virkirion. I've posted two mocks there, both combiners. The one I'm reviewing today, and a preview version of another mock, which will likely be my next video. So with all that out of the way, I guess we can go ahead and get started. This is my look at this is my review on the original series of the Technicons. Now, they were designed to be a splinter group from the Decepticons. There's a total of 9 components here, with this one here being the team weapons for everyone except for Hijack, and these two being for combine mode. So I guess now we'll get into each character individually, doing articulation, transformation, and then transformation to combination mode. To start, we'll start with Hijack. This is the team leader. The bio in the Rebrickable page mentions he has the ability to manipulate digital data, and to elaborate, effectively he can hack mainframes and change data, like change what it says or certain properties of it. You'll notice he is the only one here whose weapon does not merge into the little car you saw before. Its official name is a Weapatron unit. Its name is website. His cannon, it is because his cannon is for his alt mode. It is also the only one that can fire, as it uses a simple spring-loaded shooter here. Just one piece, simple spring-loaded shooter, essential for alt mode. Build-wise, quality-wise, it's made of Lego, so obviously you move certain joints, they're going to fall apart. Look-wise, he looks great. He looks awesome. And since it's the original set, his chest plate is the one in the mock photos and build photos. It is not, however, mentioned in the parts list, as I could not find it on the Rebrickable parts page. Now, one interesting little detail to note is that originally he was not a combiner. He was a standalone transformer. He turned into something completely different. The only thing that stayed consistent throughout his original design and the new design, this design, was the head. His original design turned into like a construction vehicle. This turns into something completely different, which I'll get into in a few minutes. The back spikes here can be taken off and mounted onto his arms and used as swords. Like that. But that's really it for weapons and like aesthetics and stuff. His head is a bit forward, so from the side he does look a bit wonky. But from the front, he looks pretty good. Now I'll get into articulation. So for starters, the head can look back all the way for this originally was intended for both of his transformation functions, but it can also serve for articulation. And then he can look down that far. Arms are both on butterfly joints. You move the shoulder spikes. You got a 360-degree rotation. You have some gorilla arms. Both arms do this inward flex thing. That's all for this arm, but this arm actually has a wrist bend, or a kind of elbow bend, arm off there, and a wrist swivel. So his arms, he's the only one who actually has this. It's due to how he transforms. The cannon can mount on both arms. It mounts, albeit the studs are pointing in the exact same direction on both arms. For legs, they can go out that far. You got forward this far and backwards that far, and nothing else. That's it. As far as he's concerned, really I couldn't fit in anything else due to his small size. But honestly, I'm fine with it. I guess now we'll do transformation. So for starters, fold the head all the way back like so. Take the arms and extend them both forward on their butterfly joints there, like that. Swing the spikes around all to about right there. Whoops. And that's because of that's because of the legs, which you're going to compress together. And you do this part on a flat surface, push them down. They have to be at this exact angle because otherwise it looks weird. You can then fold the spikes in the rest of the way and then open up the hands. We're going to rotate this hand up and fold it. Now, for some reason, it's being really weird. It's never done this before. But for the sake of ingenuity, I'll just pull off that little piece. And yeah, he just goes together like that. The other arm, rotate back and fold down like that. So here he is. And you take his cannon, his ion cannon, and it just pegs on to here. So here he is in his vehicle mode. It's meant to be a sort of armored military vehicle. His feet end up forming the headlights, with his right arm forming the windshield. His left arm just kind of sits back there. And something else I like is, this is also repeated on another one of the Technicons we'll get into later. His head forms the taillights. So that's just something I thought was pretty cool. There's not really as much to say. Proposing the cannon can swivel. Can almost do a full 360, but is blocked by the arm hinge. Can also be removed and pegged on here, or pegged on here for a sort of stationary mode. But we're going to be taking this. You are not going to see this until more like the end of the video. So, for combination, move that aside. We're going to start by opening up the arms, undoing the arms, and getting them back into this position. And then I'm going to fold them up, fold that hand down. They look like that. Next, you're going to put the arms in the way, and I just broke that one. You're going to take the arm spikes and put them vertically upwards, leaving the head like this. You then take the legs, we'll extend them out and push them back. They will allow for a very little amount of room to tilt the spikes. But yeah, here he is. He forms the upper torso. We'll get into the whole articulation for the combined mode, Destroy Us, later. But for now, this is how you're going to want to leave Hijack. Set him off to the side. The second Technicon we are introduced to, I believe, is Glitch. Now, Glitch has the ability to corrupt data, basically essentially stealing it. He's one of two. He's one of two of the Technicons who uses ball joint, which actually gives him more articulation. Before we do that, one thing to note is the transparent panels on both his arms and legs. This is a representation of visual glitches, how they flash bright colors. Something else to note is his helmet is not the strongest for some reason, and it likes to come off a lot. Especially in combined mode, it's really easy to just not pull off, leave the helmet on the arm socket. Did I mention he forms one of the arms? He forms one of the arms. But for his articulation, head, no movement. That's a letdown. Both the arms have butterfly joints, mostly for transformation and combination. You've got your 360-degree rotation, an elbow bend this time, 90 degrees bend at elbow, but it bends both ways. And you have the whole gorilla arm thing for combination. Waist is in a ball joint, so you have both ab crunch. You have a waist swivel, 360-degree waist swivel. For legs, they can actually go out pretty far. And then they go forward that far, backwards that far, and then you have ankle rotation. So overall, he's pretty articulated. I'd say he kind of balances with Hijack, because Hijack could move his head, and he had two arms that both did different things. But anyway, now it's time to get into the transformation for Glitch. So to start, we're going to fold both of the arms back and lay him down like so. Then rotate the waist and fold it up. Split the legs and rotate the ankles down and then fold them in. Yeah, pretty simple transformation for him. The inspiration for his vehicle mode is it's supposed to be a cargo container carrier, and this slot in the back here is for cargo containers. You can kind of fit the handbot unit, this little guy. You can kind of stick him in. You can kind of stick him back there, make him look like he's carrying something. Unfortunately, it doesn't really peg in anywhere, so he just kind of gets left behind if you move it. But combination, which would probably be easier to do for robot mode, but honestly, I don't feel like turning it back to robot mode. So for starters, we're going to straighten the legs, leaving the ankles like that for now. We're going to bend the elbow, or twist the waist around, not bend the elbow. Bend the combined mode elbow, and then rotate the feet forward. But leave the legs together. And we're going to take the arms, fold them up, and fold them all the way forward. That also likes to come off a lot. Like so. For now, we're just going to fold down his hands. So there he is. We'll bend the waist that way. So here he is in arm mode. Yeah. I'm not going to get into full combination details till later, so we'll just put him off to the side. The next guy, I can't remember if he comes before or after Glitch, but next up is Firewall, who has the unique ability to protect data. Like his name suggests, he literally can set up firewalls. He's a pretty nifty figure. From the side, it does look like he has a bit of a pot belly. And his feet are interesting because they use these wedges to support him. Yeah, I guess there's not really much else other than the fact that this jumper plate is interesting. It gives him like a frill, almost like a cobra. This was designed on that was on purpose, fully designed on purpose to give him snake frills. There's not really much else to say about his robot mode besides articulation, other than this massive bulge in his chest. That is the combined mode. That is the combiner port for combined mode. That's supposed to be there. If you don't like it, you can obviously just take it off since it is Lego. But I like to leave it on because I usually have them displayed in combined mode anyway. So for articulation, nothing at the head. Arms can go up, down. You've got a double jointed elbow that can bend a full 180, both forwards and backwards. You've got the same waist joint as Glitch, ball joint waist like Glitch, so rotation, ab crunch. Legs can go out that far. You got forward that far and backward that far, and then the blades can move, and then these little wedges, not blades, wedges can move up and down. So yeah, his arms are he probably has the best articulated arms out of the group. That's really it. So then next we'll get into transformation. Okay, transformation time. So to start, we're going to rotate the elbows backwards and then up and lay him down. Compress the legs and flip these blades up. Rotate the waist, fold it up, fold the blades back, and you end up with this thing. So funny story, his original design was a car flipper as the blades came together and form a giant wedge that he could use to flip things. Mostly now he's not really sure. I couldn't really figure out what I wanted him to be, so he's just kind of another military vehicle. But you can still get him in a pose where it looks like he's flipping something. I don't have any like little cars or anything, but you could get it. You could put like a Hot Wheels car up there to make it look like he's flipping a car. Not really much else. The front tires can do this and that, but you're not really supposed to. Yeah, that's it for vehicle mode. Combination. Take them up, straighten out the legs, take the arms, fold them back, but you want to make sure that the clip stays. You just want to fold this section. And then flip the arms up, and then flip the blades up like so. This is so it's easier to attach the hand. Due to how the left hand forms, due to how the left hand just is, really, it just makes it way easier to have the blades up. It's really the pieces that connect the blades to the legs that make the hand so difficult to attach. Yeah, that's about it for him. Next is Terabyte, the medic. And he has the ability to store data. I just realized I have one. I forgot to flip one of the around. Yeah, he's the medic. He could store data, store a lot of data. And he goes really well on Hijack. With Hijack, Hijack can manipulate the data that Terabyte stores. He also goes well with another character, Quick Search, who we'll get to a little later. Something, this is to note, part of his lore and personality. He's a huge fan of Hijack and was really excited to get on his team. So his ult mode might look similar to Hijack. There'll be a few things that are similar. For articulation, nothing at the head because it's a little simple plate. Arms can butterfly that far forward, not back. You have up and down, that bicep rotation. You have an elbow bend, and then floppy wrist. And then these panels can rotate and move, so you can really position those however you want. Nothing at the waist. Something to note is this waist section likes to come apart right there. It's really annoying. It mainly does that when you transform him. When you transform the legs, as they're similar to Hijack's legs, where you press them down on a hard surface. This will snap. You have to grip him there. You have the legs go out that far, and go forward and backwards. Overall, he's got some decent articulation. Their leg articulation between all of them is pretty much the same, minus the three non-robot components. But yeah, now I guess we'll do transformation. So to start, you effectively want to make him T-pose, like this. Flip these arm panels out. Rotate the wrist, rotate this up, and then this. I actually realized I messed this up. The studs are supposed to be facing inside, so you want to rotate the wrist panels, then fold up the fists. So the arm should look like this from the front, from the top. Then you're going to rotate his back panel. Now we're going to do the legs. They don't have as much of a distance to travel as Hijack, as they're closer to the ground, but it's still annoying when you go to press them and that piece snaps. Then yeah, these just fold in on the side here, like that, and then this just folds down. Yeah, overall, pretty simple transformation. He's very similar to Hijack, the way, like his legs forming the front of the vehicle, There's some little red pieces here which are meant to represent the headlights, and his head forms the taillights. Also, like Hijack, he forms part of the torso. I don't know. I don't remember if I mentioned that. Hijack. I just broke Hijack, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah, Hijack forms upper torso, and Terabyte forms the lower torso. To start with that, you fold this up, like so. Split the arms, split the legs, leave the legs alone. Next, rotate the arms down on the butterfly. Open this up, rotate 180. Flip the coat up, and flip the hand like that to form the connector for the leg. Oop. You're going to do that to both sides, and then just close in the legs. Yeah, there he is in lower torso mode. These are the connector points for the legs. They come from his hands. He was probably the most difficult to get into this iteration, as his original designs had him split in half and just replace Hijack's legs, as Hijack's legs just kind of plugged onto the back of his blades. There's not much else with Terabyte. Also, his face does form the crotch plate. Put in a little detail. Next are probably my least favorites. I'll just introduce them both. Dark Web and Quick Search. We'll do Dark Web first. These two are designed to be about the same mold. There's just some differences. They have about the same articulation. They both form the feet. I actually forgot they use ball joints, and this is where this printed piece comes in. It forms the front of the foot and the front of Quick Search's alt mode. One thing I want to mention before, real quick. Quick Search's arm here is really loose, his right arm on the original, but I think that's just due to the clips mostly. I'll be using I'm going to use Quick Search because due to how Dark Web's robot mode is, his articulation is hard to film with him. Articulation, nothing at the head because it's sunk into the chest. Arms can butterfly, they can move down and up. That's mostly for transformation. You got a full 360, elbow bend, bicep swivel, full joint waist. So you got ab crunch both ways and a 360-degree waist swivel. Legs can move out that far, and then you get forward and backwards. Now in this guy, it's different because you can't use the bicep swivel due to how this clip is angled. If you try to rotate the light gray clip, the arm will just pop off. And it often does that when turning him back from combined mode. This will just pop off. So for transformation, fold down the head, collapse the legs, and fold them in. Then fold the arms flat and rotate the biceps. And then fold the hands. You want the studs facing this way. These arms will then nicely collapse together, like this, forming this little truck thing. He's literally the exact same transformation with a few extra steps. Rotate, fold down, collapse and fold back the legs. I'm gonna do this real quick. Yeah, the only real difference is you have to rotate his upper torso. But yeah, so there you have their vehicle modes. The only real thing I don't like about them is how their shoulders are just kind of sticking out. That was kind of necessary. Originally, he had a different looking alt mode, but I changed it due to the new combination pieces. Speaking of which, let me get him out of the way. We're going to do the right leg first. Starters, fold it in. You want the face. Their heads will face inwards. Then we're going to take this arm, fold it up, rotate, fold it in. You also want to rotate the bicep swivel. That will form the sole of the foot. This will then just collapse down, pull that down. There's the foot. This one is literally the exact same. Rotate, pull this back, rotate this, fold this in, adjust, and fold this down. Okay, there you have the feet. And this is interesting because it actually gives them some ankle tilt. It really helps the combined modes articulation. Anyway, now to get into the three pieces that I kind of swept off to the side in the intro. This little guy and these two. We'll start with the car. And this is Website. Now, Website is the fusion of the team's weapons minus Hijack. So to transform him into the weapon mode, into the weapons mode, take this off. This is Terabyte's blaster. Take this off. This is Glitch. Glitch has this like hammer, spiked hammer pick, I guess. Then you pull these off. These two little blasters are built exactly the same, and they are for quick search and dark web. And they're literally the exact same. It doesn't really matter which one you give to which of them. And then this, rotate these little yellow pieces forward, and rotate this. This is Firewall's blaster, which can place barriers. So yeah, they just a bunch of weapons. That's really all he is. But he's one more mode that I want to go into, and that is combine mode. For this, you're also going to need Hijack's weapon, which we kind of just put off to the side. Take the hammer, and you want to take these and put them on here. Like this. Then take the medic Terabyte's gun, and it will just plug onto here on Hijack's weapon. You're going to take Firewall's weapon, and this will attach there. And this assembly is going to attach via this stud. Now, the part I currently have on this is actually not official Lego. It is a fake Lego piece because I do not have the official Lego. I do not have an official one available. They're all being used on other mocks, which I will be showing in later videos. But this stud is going to go in the middle of this, like that. And that's going to form the sword for the combined mode. Alternatively, if you stick a flick dart like this, you would stick it in upside down. I'm not going to be demonstrating that because it's really not the point. Anyway, these two. So we'll start with this one. They both have two modes each. Not one. This is the Handbot unit. It has no name. It is a simple drone. Technically speaking, it contains the mind. It should contain the mind of combined mode, but that's actually stored in him, who we'll get to in a second. So he's really just a little boxy drone controlled by Hijack. And he's called the Handbot for a reason. As for transformation, flip these open, split. You have the hands. So bring in the arms. We'll start with Firewall. Bring in Firewall. Take this, pull the fingers up. These two studs will peg into here and hold the legs together. They only unfold about that far, and you can then fold down the blades. This is actually the hand you want to put the sword in. It will attach to the lowest two studs. And then you just close up the hand. There you have him. For the other hand, the left hand, these are just very simply, you're going to take this, and it's going to peg into here, the farthest anti-stud away from this G-slope on both sides to form a claw. Originally, the actual claw was formed from his legs, but it just looked bad, which is why I had to give him hands. So yeah, there's the left hand. Finally, we get to this guy. This is, I think his data file. I can't remember his name. Simple little build. And he has one other mode. That being, you fold this panel back, these around, he forms the combined mode head. That's right, Destroyus is a headmaster. He is the only headmaster I have so far, and he is by far the best. Now, I did build a display stand for them, and there's a little piece off to the side where you can detach him, place him off to the side, and have the original head, which was just Hijack's head. Just a little detail. But yeah, that's the last transformation. Now we just got to get to combination. We should start with the torso. Hijack, Terabyte. Now, for the torso, these two anti-studs here are going to plug onto this blue plate. So it's just very simply going to go like that. Boom, there you have torso. We'll attach the head last. We'll do the legs next. So we'll take him. And now, you want to make sure that you don't do this, because otherwise the ankles will tilt the wrong way. And this little red piece is going to attach onto Terabyte's hand. Like so. You're just going to simply plug it on like that. And then I'm going to rotate the angle tilt. And now you're going to take the other one, do the same thing. They have legs. Next we'll do the arms. So Glitch attaches via the back of his helmet. This little assembly here goes on right there. And Firewall, as I already explained, that just broke, attaches via the little section jutting out of his chest. Goes in here. And then the head, this clip is going to go right there in that open spot between these two clips. It's literally just going to go over Hijack's head. I just realized I accidentally moved him out of frame, and his sword keeps falling apart. Yeah, this just very simply clips on there. And there you have Destroyus Maximus fully combined. His articulation is a lot, and I'm going to have to be careful because he will likely fall apart. So for starters, the head can't really look up, but it can look down. Although the clip does become loose because it's bumping into these. Ahead, you have two rotation, one at the clip and one at that little yellow, one at the eyes right here. Arms, you've got that same butterfly joint. They can't go backwards. Arms can do a full 360. You've got ball joints here, and then the fingers are all articulated. The waist, he has a backwards crunch. I'm going to leave that off for now. That goes all the way. And a waist swivel, which does look a little funky. I'm going to remove the arm. Legs can go out that far, but if you flip this down, they can go out farther. You have forwards, and they can't really go backwards because of Terabyte's legs, but you can just manipulate them to go like that. And they can go back a bit. And then you actually have this joint for ankle tilt. You have double ankle tilts. You have foot pivots and swivels. And he's the only figure, the first time this is used, a knee bend. However, the other leg is in the way. Yeah, as you can, I'm going to need a second. As you can see, he has a knee bend. Albeit if it does break the legs apart because of how they form. I'm going to put them back together. So, real quick, let me know if you guys liked this review. I also think I could do some reviews of official LEGO sets that I own, a lot of which are probably retired. Or if you want me to keep doing my mocks. But, yeah. So I guess like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. And I'll see you all in the next one.